start. Does anyone have any changes to the agenda? Is someone taking? Who's taking notes?
I'm taking attendance.
Okay.
Want me to take notes too?
Sure.
All right.
No, I don't hear any changes. All right. Nobody wants to eliminate the tariffs? Okay. And wasn't there a gentleman here I saw? Did he?
Yeah, popping in and out.
Is he still here?
And we walked in.
We bored him already.
Well, if he comes back in, he would fall under public input, but I don't think we have anything under public input. Okay, so did you guys read your minutes online? Do you want to, somebody want to move for approval of the minutes? All right, do I have a second? Okay. Oh,
I mean, there's one like typo.
okay, what's the typo?
Under EMC report, it says 202 instead of 2025.
202 feedback. Are we talking BC? Or AC? Okay. All right, so all in favor of approval of minutes?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. So we're good there. This under correspondence, it says Memorial Day Parade form.
I think there was.
This form. So do we want to march in the Memorial Day and 4th of July parades?
We do the Memorial Day and not the 4th of July.
Okay.
Is the past performance.
Okay. Does that sound?
What do we do? What do we march like?
Yeah,
March.
do we have like a banner?
Yeah, there's a banner, and then
We throw candy to the varmints.
in the past somebody's dressed up as the H2O.
H2O Hero, yeah. Who usually, is this new that we have a form?
I don't know if this is something that Michelle's just done on our behalf. Or
Yeah.
I think she generally fills it out
Okay.
for us.
Oh, so there's always been a form.
I think
Yeah.
so.
So
Yeah,
I'll fill it out and get it to her tomorrow so she can forward it on.
okay.
So yes to Memorial Day, right? And no to the 4th?
Correct.
Okay.
When is the date of the parade? Does it say?
Sunday, May 25th. And it says the parade is at 3 o'clock. And the assembly will start at 2 p.m. at Irondequoit High School. Sure there'll be more correspondence to follow, but those are the basics.
Is there an east and west around High School?
Yeah, this one
Yeah.
will be west.
Yeah,
This will be west?
This is west.
Yeah, Cooper Road,
Yeah.
across from
Yeah.
Enrich's.
They call it East Irondequoit, East Ridge.
Yep. Who's interested in attending that? I generally am out of town that weekend, but.
I like to do it.
Yeah, okay.
I'll be out of town. I'll have to. Get back
See.
to you. Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
I'll look. I'm gonna try to do it if I'm not out of town. But I'll
Okay.
try.
I should do it too.
Yeah, if I happen to be in town, I might do it. I could drive my convertible and wave out of it. Okay. All right, so under new business, we have Arbor Day. And is that something you want to do that planning with, Scott?
Arbor Day will be the ceremonial planting. So we're going to do it back here. in the grassy area, which is soon to be the new outdoor market area. So we're going to be planting some trees around there. So that will be on April 25th, which is a Friday.
April 26th?
25th.
25th.
So that is Arbor Day, but we haven't nailed down a time yet, but it'll be sometime like mid-morning, 10 or 11 o'clock. And all are welcome to join.
How many trees are you gonna plant?
Lots. I don't know how many we'll do for the ceremony. Probably just one or two for the ceremony, but we're going to be planting quite a few back there.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Mixed bag or?
Yeah. Interesting stuff.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Can you tell Michelle to shoot us a note when you got a time?
Yeah, definitely.
Good idea, Jack. Not the day before either. Sometimes, well, sometimes I go like 2 or 3 days without checking email. I'm not an office kind of guy. All right, here we have the planning board sign-up sheet. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, so October 14th, I will be back. So I don't need anybody to cover for me.
I missed last month, so I'll take November's on. So I can just.
I can do August.
What time are those meetings?
They're all.
7 o'clock.
I think 7, right?
Yeah. Now, Michelle's not here, but are there any? Is anybody aware of anything coming up in the April planning board meeting that is pertinent to environmental concern?
I don't believe so. Check the agenda. If I have it.
Is Michelle sick or
Yeah, she's sick.
so many people sick? I just got to get through to Saturday.
Doesn't have anything up out there.
All right, I'm going to be back on the 12th, so that's the following 12th is Saturday. Yeah, that's that following Monday. 4/14. All right, so that works. All right. Okay, so we'll move on to Tree Town USA.
Our trees are actually coming in tomorrow, the first truckload, which is about 2.5, 3 weeks earlier than normal. It just so happened that the delivery truck is driving through Irondequoit, so they're going to be delivering early, which is great, so we'll get them in the ground sooner.
Is that the ones you ordered?
Yes.
The 100?
No,
Oh.
these are street trees,
Oh, gotcha.
not the saplings, yeah. Yep.
What did they put those out at the DPW to the?
No,
South.
these ones are going to be street trees, so right-of-way trees in between the sidewalk and the curb.
No, I mean, are they gonna when they deliver them? Is that where they?
Yeah, we
bring 'em?
create a little nursery in the back, set up kind of berms and mulch,
Yeah.
and just dig a hole and put the root ball in the mulch, and just so they don't dry out before we can get them in the ground.
Sure.
So it's an undertaking to get 80 trees off the truck in a
How
timely
many?
fashion. 80.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
get them in the ground and mulched and staged and ready to go, and then figure out where they're all going. It's stakes and supports and mulch and stakeouts for all the digging and all that
It's
stuff.
supposed to rain over the weekend, so
It'll help.
that'll help. Yeah.
Yep.
It won't dry out. At least those.
So how long can they stay in your mulch pile after you got them in there? Are they good all summer if things go shitty?
If you keep them watered, yeah. If you think of like a garden supply store. I mean, they'll have their trees all summer long until they sell. They just have to keep them watered. So as long as we're diligent, they'll be just fine. But that's why we plant in the spring and the fall.
Yeah.
So, because if the summer is just too hard to keep up on watering them, and they just do a lot better when it's cooler out.
So is that the allotment for spring, or are you getting more than that?
We're getting another truckload, so 126 total, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're trying to plant majority in-house because we can plant them a lot cheaper than paying a contractor to do it. That's just the manpower and the logistics of it are,
Tricky, yeah.
to say the least.
What's the caliper of the trees that you get? Usually a couple inches, or?
Yeah, typically between like 1.5 inches and 2 inches. Anything bigger, it's difficult to move without equipment. I mean, we still have to move them with equipment, but you can still move them with your hands,
Yeah.
like straighten them out and stuff. Once you get into the 3-inch trees and anything bigger, they're just heavy, and
Yeah.
it really slows us down. So the 1.75 to 2 inch trees are perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
And that it actually shows that planting smaller trees, because the root ball in comparison to the size of the tree, of the smaller trees, you take more of the roots with it. Whereas when you take a 3-inch tree, it's a couple years older, the root ball's not much bigger. So in comparison, you're taking way more roots, so it takes way more longer to regain its root system, and the smaller trees in time actually outperform the bigger trees.
Oh, no kidding. That's
Yeah. Some sense.
oh, that's interesting.
Yep. So that's all we got going on in the tree department right now.
Okay. Is all this like part of our being qualified for Tree Town USA?
Yeah.
The amount of plantings that the municipality does?
So the minimum qualifications are to have a tree ordinance, a tree board. I think it's, don't quote me on this, it's like $2 per capita that you spend on maintaining trees, and you celebrate Arbor Day. So you
Yeah.
have to check those 4 boxes in order to qualify for Tree City USA.
Oh, yeah.
Is that easy to hit the $2?
We do it with ease, yeah.
Cool.
Because I think we have like 50,000 residents.
Yeah,
So
roughly.
it's like $100 grand that we spend on it, and that includes salaries and all that stuff. So once you take into account the employees that we have and what we actually spend on the trees, I mean, planting alone, and then you throw in maintenance costs and stuff, we're well above it.
Cool. Okay, Noelle, what do you have on Facebook for us?
We have 943 likes and 976 follows, which is 2 more each than what we had last time. And we still have the same amount on Instagram, which is 13. That's what I got.
We gotta break that 1,000
I know.
mark.
One day. One day.
You know, we could, you know what, we could all mention to our friends that it exists,
Yeah.
you know, and that, you'd be surprised, that might do something to boost our following.
You could give an Irondequoit hat to the 1,000th person.
Yeah.
Like that.
We'll let them carry the banner in the Memorial Day parade, or when wear the H2O hero uniform, yeah. That's something we could, that would be nice when we can celebrate that. Okay, Deer Management Board, she's got down nothing to report, and I'd say that's a good thing. I I keep in touch with the wildlife in town as much as I can. And I have, and I'm also in the bow program. I do a lot of photography too, so I'm in the woods, I noticed that there is a ton of does, even though we kind of took a normal number. The winters have been pretty light, and this year we had an extraordinary year for acorn production, and we've had virtually nothing for at least 3 years prior. So the deer are pretty healthy, and in my opinion, I've talked to the Lieutenant Kuhn who runs the bow program about this. We're gonna I think we should encourage the bow hunters to take more does, because I had one day I walked, in Huntington Hills, I walked through the commons and I came back down on the road, and I think I saw something like 48 deer or something in that, and I was talking to one of my neighbors, and he said he heard another guy that had a walk, and he saw 70s. Just in that, the deer they like that area, but there's just way, and now they're going to be, as soon as the emergent, native, what few natives there are left plants, they chow them all down, I think the population is, is growing, Another thing we could point out on Facebook is, usually sometimes in late April, but by May, the does are having their fawns, and just alert people to look out. Anytime another thing that would be good to alert them to is if they happen to see a deer, and the deer it looks like they're not going to have any interaction with the deer, to also slow down and try to observe what's going on, because lots of times there's deer just behind a tree and behind some evergreens or something. You see it all the time, right? And they bolt out, and if you think that's the only one that you're seeing, but it would help limit the population, but it's not the way we want to do it, But it's this time of year, and the other time of year, of course, is when the does aren't ready, but the bucks are ready for mating. There's a lot of activity that causes deer car collisions. So, might be something. I could write it up for you. You could just put it in.
Yeah.
Put it in there.
I remember there was a post that we did
Yeah.
very similar to this, to
Yeah.
watch out for fawns. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's because April births are kind of rare. Toward the end of April, though, but and certainly, and given it's an ongoing thing in Arundecoit, because the population is so big that not all the does are mated, in late October or early November. There's still mating going on. I've seen it go on in February. But anywhere else, that's just doesn't happen, except if there's a lot of population. But it can happen. It can happen in December. Around here. That's when you see little deer that are runts. They're usually born later. It's not a genetic thing so much. It is that they were born later. So it can happen. But I try to. The people that are around me, I try to make them aware of that. I've also noticed that coyote population, at least around me, seems to be down. But I've seen 2 dead coyotes one on 590.
Yeah.
down by, what is it, Tryon Park, somewhere near there, just past there, in between there and Empire.
It's like 2 days ago.
And yeah, and then there's another one that's been there a long time up by exit 31 at 490. But I don't hear them howling, and like a couple years ago I had 6 pups in my coming up my driveway and getting under my Suburban to get out of the heat. It's like they were all, and it was like sound like murder every night. Yeah, but their population will definitely increase, because of that. Anybody else see anything? I've seen eagles on the bay.
I went by there Sunday, and there were cars lined up on both sides of the street. Ugly day. It was rainy and crappy, and people are out there looking at them. They were up just above the nest. Both the parents were up. I couldn't see anything from the nest.
Are you talking on Lakeshore or the ones on Irondequoit Bay?
Lakeshore.
Yeah. It's kind of, I'm sure it's disturbing to the eagles, although they probably have adjusted to it.
The DEC put up signage saying that that's a restricted area now.
Yeah, I heard that too. Yeah.
An article in the paper giving eagle politeness, how you're supposed to stay away from it.
Eagle rights, as Rosanna Dana was talking about, instead of.
Just the restricted area mean you can't walk by?
It's on the back side of the sidewalk in the wooded area. It's just a paper sign that the DEC put up that says restricted area, keep out wildlife management, and whatever it says, but they don't really want you.
There were a lot of people out there for a while.
It's been quite a spectacle.
Yeah. Every time driving by, it's both sides of the street.
Yeah, it's amazing how interested people are in that.
It is really cool. I don't blame them, but
The place to see them is down by Sutter's Marine on Irondequoit Bay. Not so much now, but when the ice goes out, and there's an ice line that goes, from the south end and moves north, and the eagles hang right on the edge of that ice. I guess they're fishing,
Yeah.
I saw 8 when I was down there, and I talked to another photographer. This was like 3 weeks ago or more, when the ice was receding.
It was funny with the ice this year. It wasn't that good a situation. It either was frozen over completely or melted completely. There weren't those big puddles in the middle of the ice pack. It was about 4 years ago. We had 29 of them here.
wow.
Yeah, there's probably even more. I'm convinced. I saw 16, not this year, but last year. This year I saw an 8, but I talked to another photographer that saw 16. But I'm convinced that all the juveniles, come back. They're not mating yet and all that, and I think they come back.
Yeah, they're mostly juveniles. If you look, there's hardly any white heads among them.
Yeah, I saw there were almost half of them when I saw the 8.
Oh,
I saw
yeah.
at least 3 adults.
That's unusual.
Yeah, but I think they come back, and it's been good for the cormorants that were threatening the trees along the bay. Don't seem to come now until July, and they used to come in May. Yeah, but while those eagles around, they just
You think that's it?
I do.
Huh.
Yeah. Well, you remember years ago, I tried. I had a public forum here to try to get rid of cormorants. And I invited people in the state officials, anybody that was involved in conservation. It wasn't anything to do with the conservation board. I did it as like kind of a grassroots thing because they're a crappy bird, and they're not native to this flyway. And after not succeeding I got permission for the Webster Fire Department volunteered to use their fireboat to blast them out of the trees. You can harass them. You have to get permits for, mitigation. If you own land, you can actually shoot them if they're, you know, real potential nudist. There's a guy in the bay that he had a permit to do it, but they wouldn't do anything. They wouldn't help me, and we had one of the charter captains stood up and he said, "I want you to tell me one thing that them Boyds is good for." He used an expletive in the middle of that, but nobody had an answer, you know. And actually, and during this, I did this for a couple months. Spent a lot of time. I twice got directly a hold of the U.S. Department of Interior, the head of the department, talked to me on the phone. I was amazed they put me through, and he talked to me one time for almost a half hour, you know, and he agreed that they shouldn't be protected. He said, but the political climate just isn't there for it. People, the birds, and they've been given, you know, protection. He says, taking it away, it's just not going to happen, you know. So, but they still do a lot of damage, but they're not, you know, they're not roosting and nesting there like they were. And we have, like, outside the Fish and Game Club, there's that Snyder Island, and we were worried because what happened on other islands on Lake Ontario, that they were going to, their excrement denudes the trees, so we were worried that, and we did lose some trees. We were losing trees, but they, you know, I say they bowed to political pressure, you know, but I'm sure it's the Eagles. Pretty sure.
I think it was your movement.
Yeah, no, I don't think you know.
They heard that you were coming for them.
No, I just tried to do something. Because nobody was doing anything, and most everybody you talk to nobody has anything good to say about the bird. You know, it's like they eat bait fish like crazy, and they eat bass fingerlings and trout fingerlings, and in big quantities. Okay, so that's the wildlife report. How about EMC? Dan?
That's me.
Huh?
That's me.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I'm thinking RAC. EMC, yeah.
For the EMC meeting this month, there was a presentation about the stream bank restoration that they did in Brighton. I guess like a number of years ago now, but they're kind of reporting back on it. So they got a grant from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Not that I think grants are available anymore, but basically for like water quality improvement along Buckland Creek. And
Is that a tributary of Allen's Creek?
I don't know, actually.
Probably.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. But so they basically did like targeted mailing to homeowners whose properties like were intersected by the creek, and offered for whoever was interested to plant, like they could pick what plants that were going to go there, but basically between, you know, the back of their property and the creek to prevent erosion. And then they also did a certain number of like rain garden and rain barrel giveaways, kind of. So Broccolo in, where are they,
Penfield.
Walworth? Yeah.
Penfield Hour.
They donated a bunch of plants to all of these homes that people could pick, and the town planted them for them, and they were like specifically plants that would help with draining rainwater and filtering rainwater for runoff. And then they also gave away rain barrels that people could decorate, and then they like helped them disconnect their gutters so that it would just go into the rain barrel. And they were talking about how that is like important for preventing runoff and losing all of this water that they said like a half inch of rain on a typical size roof, you can get like 300 gallons of water. Isn't that crazy?
Wow, really?
So
Oh, yeah.
something to think about, maybe. I'm still waiting on the slides as a PDF because I'll send them to you guys because they're very interesting. But yeah,
Broccolo's like really been, when Kimmy was on the board, for a while she worked for them. But they're very knowledgeable about native plants
Yeah.
and invasives, and they're very proactive with their clients with all that stuff,
Yeah.
which is really good. I don't think that exists with a lot of the other.
Definitely not.
Yeah, we did that rain barrel thing when Kimmy was still around because
Yeah,
she could lay her hands on free barrels.
Oh,
And since we lost her, we don't have any free barrels anymore.
yeah.
they got their barrels donated by Genesee Brew House.
That's where she was getting them.
Yeah, so, I mean, they still are using barrels, like, we can ask. And that'd be fun to, like, do at a farmer's market, like, let people take rain barrels and they get to paint them or something, like,
Yeah.
it's so fun.
Yeah.
So,
She got the fittings donated by Home Depot, I think. So we made up kits, and people who did it at the town market. And
Yeah,
people were crazy for them.
yeah,
But you need a little bit of plastic piping, and
Uh-huh.
you need to cut a hole in the top of it. And it's not hard to do.
yeah.
what did
Must
they
have done
have?
100 of the damn things.
What were in the barrels originally, like
I don't know what they
barley
did in there.
or maybe some kind of a?
They said it was for, like, fruit juices.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Has anybody seen Kimmy?
No, I talked to her about a month ago, but
I haven't seen her in months.
yeah, she kind of wanted to get out of town government, given some situations. So yeah, it's too bad.
Yeah.
Well, we could invite her to a meeting. Have you any other guys met her? She's one of the most knowledgeable people in the town about a lot of things, and she's real knowledgeable about the environment. And she's
adjunct professor at RIT.
yeah. Plus, she usually
those
brings
stuff.
these cookies made out of acorn meal or something.
And they're delicious.
She's a trip. But let's invite her. I think to come to a meeting.
I'll shoot her a note. I need to talk to her anyway.
Yeah, she's just like, she's an incredible woman, But she's a big proponent of the environment. But it's sad. Maybe we could get her back on the board. I think I did mention that to her last time I talked to her. But
What does she teach at RIT?
yeah,
I didn't hear you.
What does she teach at RIT?
I'm
what
sorry.
does she teach?
Oh, she teaches a class that students do eco-oriented projects, and she always has an open house at the end of the course. And she used to invite us to it all the time. I didn't get one this last semester.
Yeah,
She's now a realtor. That might be taking up her time.
some of her. Yeah. She's been a realtor for like probably 4 years or more. But she always
I'll
had
write her a note and see if she'll come.
She did work for, what was the name of that recycling company she worked for?
Sun King?
Sun King. She worked for Sun King for a while. So she's had her careers in
Yeah, she's got all of the marks for being a
supervisor.
pro at the whole biz.
Yeah, she's great. Okay, well, Dan's not here for the recycling advisory committee.
His note said he'd present it next month.
Okay. All right. Now, what about our liaison report?
So this is probably the last meeting before you get into seedlings, because I expect those to come in at the end of April. I don't think you were here the last couple meetings when we talked about this. I bought 4 different species of seedlings to plant down in the flats,
Oh,
like like Seneca Park Ave and St. Joe's and stuff, because the entire neighborhood, the town owns a bunch of, like forested areas behind the houses and stuff, and they just got completely destroyed by the emerald ash borer.
Oh,
All standing dead now. And, well, what's left of them is standing dead. The rest is on the ground, but anyway, there's nothing that's really next in line to pioneer the forested area, so I bought a bunch of seedlings, and it sounds like a bunch of people want to help planting them down there. The problem is, with the loss of the trees, it's really wet because the trees don't
Suck
manage
it
the
up.
storm water right now. So it's really wet. So I got river birch and sycamore and silver maple and a bunch of trees that will grow in that area, but there is a ton of poison ivy now.
ah, yeah.
So it's going to be a treat. We're going to have to cut our way in and avoid that and stuff, but
So you looking for more volunteers, or town gonna do it, or what?
volunteers.
I can help.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun.
You
Any
just,
progress on the materials for protecting them?
I have a couple things in the works. I'm going to get tubes and stake them with bamboo. I just got to figure out how I'm going to get them and how I'm going to pay for them, but make it happen. So it's going to be short notice once I hear that they're coming, because they're at the Saratoga, through the DEC with the Saratoga nursery, and they're going to deliver them to our Section 8 DEC in Avon, and then I got to go pick them up. But I don't want them sitting around for more than a week or so.
yeah,
So it'll be one of those, hey guys, I got the trees in, who's around this weekend and want to do it?
yeah, I can help. You just take a spade and open a hole and drop them in, or,
Yep.
yeah.
And then we'll have to put the tube around it and drive a bamboo stake in.
Yeah,
so the
put
tube
me
doesn't
on your
blow up.
list for notice.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I'm still concerned about the deer eating them.
Well, if you get the tube on them,
So the tube, that prevents something happening while they're a seedling, okay? Then they grow above that, and they're just like at tooth level, you know? That's what worries me. I mean,
Yeah,
you gotta get more of your buddies down there and shoot more of them.
yeah.
there is a lot of bow hunting down there, so that helps, but
They,
they're
you know,
hard.
they eat a lot at night, you know. You remember that, I think I brought this up at the last meeting, but, you know, there was that program where you staked out an area of your yard, and you were supposed to count indicator species of natives and seedlings that were growing on your property. I travel the woods all the time. I can't remember the last time I saw a tree seedling. You know, they gobble it up. You know.
Yep. So we'll put the tubes probably 3 foot high for now, and that will last a couple seasons, and then we'll kind of
Then you can-
monitor the survival.
Yeah.
And the ones that have survived, we could put a bigger fence around them.
I don't know if they bother river birch or not. I planted a couple at the Fish and Game Club because we lost a couple trees when the water was high down there.
Yeah.
They've done. I mean, they're fabulous. The trees are.
Yeah.
They're beautiful too. They got the bark kind of. It's like a.
Cinnamon, flaky bark.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like they're gorgeous trees.
They're definitely not going to eat the sycamores.
They don't eat sycamores.
They're
I don't know if they eat river birch because we caged ours up to about 4 or 5 feet.
yeah. So it'll be a work in progress, but
Or,
we got to start small.
Scott, are all species of ash subject to the ash borer? All of them?
All true ash. Yeah. They're doing research to see if there's species in the Pacific Northwest that they think it's not really a favorite of the ash borer. I mean,
So they'd be the last eaten.
yeah. So we got hit first, and it's kind of making our way across the country, and it's just annihilating everything. But they're hopeful that the ash borer isn't going to destroy them, then they can back crossbreed with
Uh-huh.
the green and the white ash to provide some sort of resistance.
Yeah, it'd be a shame to never have any kind of ash at all
Yeah.
anymore,
Yeah,
because they're a great tree.
you can effectively treat them with a systematic pesticide, but it's costly and it's something that you have to do for the life of the tree
Yeah.
every few years.
And where they grow, there's not usually just one or two. They're like they take.
Yeah.
Why do?
I don't know if they're still doing it, but Brighton was, the town of Brighton was doing their street ash trees that were big. They were protecting them.
Yeah.
A friend of ours had a street tree that was probably like that. And I don't know if they're still doing it or not, but they did it for several years. But like you said, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Why did that, like, I noticed in particular, like Wildwood Country Club and Rush, why did they take out all the dead, or most of the dead ash trees? Why did they remove them? I mean, they're in wet areas, usually really,
Country club and people don't want to look at them.
I don't know, it's like, I mean, they did it when they were just dying, not even,
Yeah.
they knew it was inevitable, but I don't know, it was like strange.
Back to the tubes real quick.
Yeah.
Do you have like a rough idea what kind of budget you would need for that?
A couple $100.
I don't want to overpromise, but I could probably solicit something from my employer. We've been doing like a tree planting promotion with some of our sales efforts
Yeah.
already, and I feel like that would fit right in with it.
Cool.
That's
I'd have
great.
to ask. I haven't brought it up or anything, but
Yeah.
I think there's a good chance that I might be able to.
What diameter do you use, like,
Like a
6-inch?
No, 4-inch diameter.
Yeah.
It'll keep the branching tight until it gets to the top and then explode. But yeah, if that's a possibility, that'd be really cool. I would have to ask. It would probably have to be a donation and then
That's-
accepted
yeah.
and all that jazz,
Yeah,
which would
that's-
probably benefit your employer anyway.
Yeah, I mean, they just put it on their Facebook page or whatever. And be like, "Look what we did."
Cool.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, no, I love that idea.
Oh, thanks for that. Wow.
I mean, I don't want to
Yeah,
overpromise
no.
because I haven't asked yet, but I think
Yeah.
there's a good chance that it's
Yeah,
just a
that's a
couple
good
$100.
idea to ask.
Oh, and I checked on the budget for the conservation board, $150.
That we
We
can,
used to get paid.
Really?
Yeah, $50 a meeting.
Wow.
When did that stop?
So did the planning board. And then all of us, when Mary Jo Heyman came, they took away the remuneration.
really?
It didn't make sense to pay $50 a head for this board, just an advisory board. I think the planning board, I think they should get paid. They got a lot more work to do.
Hey, I have a degree in environmental science, and the only work I've ever done, besides the Center for Environmental Information, has been about over 25 years of this and Henrietta conservation boards. Once I got $300 to go to a convention,
Oh,
which was just covered expenses. God,
Are residents allowed to go to like a town board meeting and as far as like public input goes, be like, give more money to the conservation board to do stuff?
I believe residents can say whatever they want.
What if the resident's already on the conservation board?
I don't.
Or
I don't.
the resident's like married to the person who's on the conservation board?
And they would definitely know all about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, at least throw us a party every year.
It's parade day.
Timmy can get paid to make the acorn cookies. Totally.
skipped farmer's market.
Oh, we did? Oh,
Yeah. And I believe Michelle had an email that she sent out about needing to nail down who we wanted to come to the farmer's market. So
oh,
they
I
could
see that. Yes,
Submit
we
an
did.
application.
I didn't see the note.
So, I don't know if you guys have any more ideas.
Well, that's in August, and that's more under.
Oh, we could do a
Dance.
birdhouse thing again, that's always popular.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, were we gonna do that in, well, we should do it. We should do it in May, I guess, but.
When's the outdoor market gonna start, do we know? May?
Well, birds they're making them now. I'm finally gonna go to Europe. I'm gonna go to England, Ireland, and Scotland for 17 days.
Oh,
Like in the middle of May to the end of May. But if one of those early Thursdays, we could do our birdhouse thing.
May 1st starts the outdoor market.
Maybe May 8th.
I don't know that it's a big deal when we do it. It's more the idea of kids having fun, learning
Yeah.
something eco.
Wait, do we have a table at every farmer's market or just?
When we want one.
Everyone that we want a table at, I think that's why they're looking for kind of a tentative schedule so they can line up the tables.
Still, that would be.
I'm sure they can figure it out on the fly.
Still, that might be a good date. May 8th.
Sort of lost my source for wood this summer. My guy's working down
Don't you
by
ha-
Canisius Lake.
Yeah. What do you got for? What do you?
I probably got stuff for 40 of them.
Oh, that's plenty for one. Do you have any more Bluebird house kits?
Any what?
The Bluebird ones?
No, we gave them to Helmer.
Oh, you gave
And
them all.
Scott hung a bunch in the cemetery.
I put some in the cemetery and
Did we get
Camp
any
Eastman.
bluebirds? I didn't even go look after you set them up.
I saw some in the cemetery. I did not see where they ended up though.
Yeah.
So they're there.
No, we put them at good spots.
They got to have a wide open. They don't like a lot of.
Well, they want
closed-in
something they
floors.
can fly to, though. It's got to
Yes.
be close enough
Yeah. Right.
for the babies to take off onto. Maybe this year we'll get more. Who knows?
Yeah.
We haven't been getting them at my garden. For the last 2 years, we haven't had any. Wrens will go in there, though.
They'll go anywhere.
Okay, I'll check for next month how many, all the pieces I got for. None
Yeah,
of them
that
are,
would. I mean, that would give us something to do if we wanted to do something in May.
we never did. The biggest day we had for making them was probably 45. So if we had 40, we've
Well, it's safe.
never ran out.
Yeah, we can. We can always
Quit recruiting.
go over to the gazebo and listen to music or something.
I think that we could bring the H2O Hero stuff to the farmer's market, and have, a way for people to do, a trivia thing about H2O Hero concepts, and then they get, a wildflower packet for participating or something. And then
Yeah.
they're more, they see on the table, you can win a prize. Maybe they're more likely to come interact.
Sure.
What's H2O Hero?
It's like a bunch of campaigns that Monroe County has done, I think, that kind of tell you how to not negatively impact the water.
They got a costume for the H2O Hero and a bunch of handouts.
And then they have little oval markers for runoff grates.
Yeah,
Only rain down the drain.
Oh yeah, yeah, stuff like it was a whole program. that's still viable, right? I don't know.
That's a good idea.
I don't know if it's being funded. Yeah, I like that idea. When you do stuff like that, you get somebody like me that likes to talk to people. They go around and like for the birdhouse thing, I spend half the time recruiting. I'll go up and I'll see a family that's got a couple little kids, and they would walk right by it. Maybe some will stop, but most of them is because I go and say, hey, we're making birdhouses. Would your son like? And then the kid, the kid, of course, says to the parent, can I? And off they come, stuff like that.
The parents just love you.
I got a knack for it, That's so if you're gonna do it, I can be your runner. Yeah.
I'll get my inventory up to date and let you know.
Yeah, I mean, even if we had 20, we just quit when we're, just.
Close up
Yeah, that's right. When
Well,
we're done,
it
we're
has
done.
more. It has more value earlier, I think, too. Plus, they can go home and paint them or what, And,
Yeah, but the wrens nest twice
yeah,
and,
sure.
or
Yeah.
3 times.
Is there like a double birdhouse pattern we can follow? Isn't there some species that like, if there's 2 houses available, one species might move in, but then they're gonna keep house sparrows away, so some other like native species.
Well, the
Is
bluebird thing is if you have 2 bluebird boxes
Uh-huh.
25 feet apart,
Okay.
They're not gonna. Yeah.
one of the big problems is wood swallows,
Oh.
and they'll eat they'll take over a bluebird nest,
Gotcha.
but they won't nest near each other, so you can never get 2 wood swallows, and
Gotcha.
there may be other things like that, but that's one I know.
Yeah. No. I
It's
think
like
that's
wood
a good
duck
idea.
boxes are like that. You can people overdo wood duck boxes. They, I once read that one box is good for about 600 acres. That's a lot of land. That seems like a lot, but they don't tolerate. They don't kind of tolerate. It would seem to me 100 acres would be fine. But I've seen places where people put like 3 or 4 of them in, in 5 acres. It's like no, doesn't work with wood ducks. I built one according to, I made it all out of cedar according to the plans that I got from. There's a ton of spots online you can get for patterns for these, and I put it because I live in a wet area, and the wood ducks would come in every spring before they did the water. Before they raised Hoffman Road and Conifer up and made the stream is not defined as much, but they used to come down the stream all the time, and I could never get them to. And I had the only one around. I couldn't get them to nest there.
Huh.
They're real picky, but those are too expensive. You buy cedar for them. You could spend $30-40 just on the. Stuff is so expensive today.
I was gonna say double that.
Double that? Yeah.
Cedar's not cheap.
Do you know
Yeah.
you can harvest cedar without killing the tree?
What's that now?
Do you know you can harvest cedar without killing the tree?
You
can
can?
take out like slivers of cedar, and it keeps growing.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. I never knew that. Wow. Huh.
That's sustainable forestry.
Yeah. Out of the center of the tree? So you stay away
Like
from the
vertical.
xylem and phloem?
Oh, I don't know how it works.
Well, that's the outer usually. Just inside
Yeah,
the
no, I
bark.
just don't know how they harvest it.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. Yeah, not many trees would take that.
I like the rain barrel idea. If we can solicit supplies, I think
Yeah.
that would be really cool for farmers market.
Yeah.
I'll ask Kimmy on the note I'm gonna send her whether she still has a source for them.
My wife she was the cost accountant for the brewery. She still has contacts there. I could ask her if she knew.
You know how many they did in,
I don't remember. I'll find out. I'll send you guys the PDF of the presentation. I think it's in there, but I didn't write it down.
because the most we ever did was 10. And I think we did, one summer we had 3 occasions where we did 10.
Yeah. Those are all the blue ones, right?
Yeah,
Gotta find the right person that can take a 55-gallon drum home in their car.
Yeah.
well, they aren't 55 gallon, they're smaller than that.
Oh, okay.
They're, I think they're
35.
about 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
Yeah, we can put them in a pickup. I know somebody's got a pickup.
These will fit in the back of a 4-door car.
Yeah, one, they can take it home, but we gotta get them, we gotta pick up.
Yeah, I don't
Or we get 'em-
remember how Kimmy got them here, but when we were working on them, they were already here.
Yeah,
I took a bunch home and cut out the tops. You cut a pretty big hole in the top. I'll ask her.
ooh. Where are we now?
Was there a March planning board, or they didn't have it, or what was the story there?
Nothing of concern for us.
They did, they were working on those, cell towers.
Oh,
Small, what the heck are they called? Small cells?
Yeah,
I don't remember. They boost cell service.
right. Yeah, so I mean, I did read that they were, that I read the planning board was approved of them, but they had things that they wanted, and one of the things was that they blend in with, the natural environment, but they didn't have any specifics toward that. They could have, I suppose they could have asked us to comment on it. Who was our representative for that meeting? Did we have one?
I don't think there was one.
Nobody signed up.
I think because at the March meeting, Michelle had said there's nothing,
Yeah,
and so it was just no one was.
nothing in
Oh, yeah,
our
it was
purview.
canceled. Was that the one that was canceled? Yes, one was canceled at some point.
Yeah, I'll have to find out what's up with this next one. Sometimes we've been encouraged to go just to keep our relationship,
yeah, I think it's worth going in general, whether,
Usually stay for the whole workshop? Jack, when you go?
when I go, yeah.
Even if it's nothing to do?
Well, if it's something clearly like signage, I wouldn't hang around for that.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Stuff that's clearly not. But if we show up at the beginning and it's informal, it's more,
And they're pretty short in general, the workshops.
yeah. Yeah, well, I'll go to the next one if, I'm sure I'll be around. Okay, what else do we have? Adjournment.
Is there any movement on the letter to the church?
Oh, yeah, I was gonna ask that myself.
No.
Thanks.
Oh. Bummer.
I haven't gotten updated yet, so we're just stagnant for now.
Okay.
I haven't seen it listed yet, so there's time.
Well, we don't wanna wait,
How much time, I don't know.
we don't wanna wait till it's listed, though.
That bicentennial tree lost a limb, though,
Oh, yeah?
I saw that.
a couple weeks ago in one of those windstorms. Not a major limb, but
It was pretty good
size.
size.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a tree.
Yeah.
I was watching the Americas, the other night, and they
Or
were,
the Tom Hanks one.
yeah, that's good, that's good. And they were talking about a tree in some park that was a big oak tree and it was like, they call it the triple oak or something. I think it might be in the Smokies, Smoky Mountain Park, and they were saying they were acting like it was so old because it was 120. We got one older. You know? In fact, all those trees on Culver are Civil War era, right?
Yeah, it's crazy to think.
Yeah, so they're
That tree's seen.
165 years old.
That's way before that.
They're older than that.
Well, when it was cored, it's the bicentennial tree because it was 1776.
Oh yeah.
Before that, predated that. I think it was 300 and something when they cored it.
Wow.
2015, maybe they cored it. Might be a cool project to core the one on Winona, because I think
Yeah.
that's the oldest. If the board wanted to try and get together with the DEC or something to do that this summer, see how old that would be.
My brother-in-law he lives on Genesee Park Boulevard, and in his backyard, he has what's considered to be the biggest ash tree in the county.
Really? Like championship ash?
I don't know. It's like, I mean, it's that wide.
Cool.
It's huge, and I don't know if he's had it treated or not. Like it's lost limbs, but it still has foliage and everything. I don't know how it's escaped. Maybe because there's not a lot of other ash trees around it.
Maybe it's so big that there weren't enough bugs to kill it.
I couldn't climb that high.
Probably just taking longer because it's got more
Yeah.
storage, more reserves.
Yeah, it's amazing.
How big is that lot by the church?
0.68 of an acre. Yep.
The community garden idea is kind of cool, and oriented around kids would be really a plus.
Yeah. I think so too.
So how could we move forward? We don't want to wait till it's listed, because then we're, you know.
I hear ya. Do my due diligence.
But you're awful busy this. Is that?
I'm not holding it up.
Huh?
I'm not holding it up.
Who's holding
If
it
it was
up?
me, I would have delivered it the day after I wrote it.
Who did it go
I
to?
just got to get approval, that's all.
Who did it go to?
Other people.
Okay. That's politics in Arundicoid. It's such a secret, you know. Everything's a secret.
Well, is that it?
I guess. Anybody want to
Move we
move for?
adjourn.
Okay. Oh, she's second. Wow, good. All right. Anybody want to hang out?